Hello and welcome to Catholic Answers Live.
Supershow.
That's it. It's a new thing we're doing. Catholic Answers Live Super Show starting today. Today is the big day. And maybe it'll happen, maybe we'll do it Tuesdays and Thursdays for a while. Edgar, if this doesn't succeed, I'm going to claim that it was your idea. So why don't you tell us about what it is, since it's your idea, until it succeeds.
Yeah,
then it will be my idea.
Okay, if it succeeds, it's your idea. If it fails, then it's also your idea. That works for me.
That's not what I said.
Well, I am the assistant host.
Assistant to the host.
Assistant host of the Super Show of Catholic Answers Live. So we're going to do something a little bit different. All right, I know all of my fellow Twitch streamers and YouTube streamers sometimes get the brunt end of our regular program where we don't actually get to answer their questions. So this time around, we actually get to interact with you guys. So this is a show dedicated specifically to the stream where we can talk to you guys, and it's going to be a little different. We're not actually going to take apologetics questions like we normally do in the second 2 hours we're going to do after this. So come hang out with us. Check out the new kind of content we're going to do, and I want to see Cy Kellett be Cy Kellett.
Well, that will be exciting for all of us. That will be the first day. But it's a little, would you say that the Super Show, well, first of all, I don't know if you fully described that Super Show, on Super Show days, it will include Catholic Answers Live in it. Mm-hmm. But what's going to happen is you'll hear us start the radio program, and then it'll be radio program for, the first 11 or 12 minutes, and then an ad will play. But online, you're not going to hear the ads anymore. Yep. If you're on YouTube or Twitch or the app or wherever, you are going to hear just us chatting or whatever we're doing. We're going to try to make this a little more engaging and a little more casual.
Yeah.
And the reason I say casual is I'm wearing a hoodie.
You're wearing the hoodie.
This is my natural outfit. And I'm never allowed to wear it on the regular show.
He just rolled out of bed, actually.
So, I combed my hair.
Did I ever tell you that when I taught my students, I taught at a Catholic school, and I would have to wear a suit every day, and my students were like, "Mr. Lujano, do you own any other clothes?" And I would say, these are actually my pajamas. I sleep in this. And they're like, "Are you serious?" Like, no, I'm not serious. Who sleeps in a suit?
But I do actually sleep in a hoodie sometimes. If it's cold enough, I'll sleep in a hoodie. But here's the deal, Edgar. I'm going to get going with the Catholic Answers Live Super Show real quick here. But I'm watching on YouTube, and I don't see any comments. Do you see comments?
I see 2 comments on YouTube.
Why don't I get comments? Oh, is it Tyler?
Tyler and I don't know how to say the other.
Beautiful people. God bless. Oh, so now I do see comments. Okay, I see.
And then on Twitch, we have the good old faithful Shano Vision saying, good evening, surprise early stream. It is a surprise, Sean, but guess what? This is going to become more of a regular thing.
It is. And if it's successful, it was my idea. And if it is not,
it is also your idea.
The assistant to the host.
Assistant host.
Edgar Lujano will be blamed for this. All right. So, okay, tell me on YouTube. And I'm gonna get started with the show. But on YouTube, was Tyler's the first comment or the second comment? I don't know if my comments are going up or down right now.
It's going up. So the first comment is above. I don't know how to say that person's name.
Oh, Bayer.
But
I guess I just didn't see it before, because it seemed like it appeared after Tyler. But no, I just didn't see it before. Yeah. Is this a Super Show? Darn right, Jeff. This is a Super Show. It's weird when you see people's comments pop up on the screen and you can see those people in the studio with you. We got 11 viewers, 10 of them in the studio. All right. Well, one of the things we want to do on Catholic Answers Live, of course, we primarily, it's the simplest and most effective format you could imagine, I think. Mm-hmm. It's just, you can ask whatever you want about the Catholic faith. We're going to talk about the Catholic faith for 2 hours every day. Call up, ask whatever you want. And it's remarkable. And I do, and you have to give all the credit to the fact that we have really, really good apologists. Yeah. That is extremely engaging, and people love it, and it's been going on now nearly 30 years. Who else in Catholic radio can say they've been doing something for nearly 30 years?
Yeah,
Not very many people. Maybe Dr. Ray Garendi, but
maybe.
A few. There are a few. I shouldn't say just maybe.
AWTN people.
A couple.
Yeah.
But we were right there at the beginning with the EWTN thing, and so what I'm getting at: simple format. Very powerful effect because people have a lot of questions about the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
But now we're going to add a little bit of stuff that we probably, it wouldn't make sense to change the structure of Catholic Answers Live, but this will give us a chance to do other things. So you'll meet some of the people on the staff here. We'll do a little bit of different kinds of programming, just a little bit of different kinds of programming when we're doing this. So one of the things we'll do, maybe comment on a few things that we don't usually comment on the show, and get all controversial up in here. Get super controversial.
I'm a little worried about what your controversial takes are.
You know what? I'm gonna go controversial right now. None of the Star Wars movies are any good.
Oh, we're starting strong. You want to get canceled, what you're saying.
I'm just going to start there. I think we established this one time, though. You and I were talking one time, and I actually don't like any of the Star Wars movies. I like the ones that are Star Wars adjacent, like
Rogue One.
Rogue One is my favorite.
Yeah.
I love the Solo movie. All the movies that are like,
I think you
like
and
if you're diagramming the sentence, they're the ones that are on this part of the diagram, and the ones that are part of the actual declarative sentence.
so we just
they're not
lost
good.
all Star Wars fans.
No. I think Star Wars fans are they're if Star Wars fans aren't mature, then who is really? That's the most mature audience you're going to get is Star Wars fans. They can handle people disagreeing with them. All right.
Do you know Star Wars fans? That's my question.
This is a community of people that's open to different ideas, and anyway. All right. So, want me to do a little commentary?
We can do a little commentary before that. Shout out to our good friend, my good friend, on with JCap. He's on in the comments there saying hello. Preston Warwick, welcome. I've never actually seen you here in the chat. And
Wait, what does that mean? You've seen him somewhere else?
No, I've never seen him in the YouTube chat for Catholic Answers. AC said, this was my comment before the show, but I had to subscribe for 5 minutes. Bender turns on you have to be subscribed to the channel for 5 minutes before you can actually make a comment.
Oh.
Yeah. And AC also said, quoting you, Saya, let's call it the Super Show.
Do I know AC?
I don't know. AC, do you know?
Because
do you know
that's
Saya?
weird, because that's exactly what, like, is he making a joke right there? Like,
I don't know.
Like that, because I think that AC means that as a joke, but you were in the meeting. That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly how it happened.
I said, let's call it the Super Show. And then John Versillo said, well, we'll come up with a good name later. And I was like, why? Let's just call it the Super Show. And then nobody stopped me. That's like, I was waiting for somebody to stop me, and so AC, I think you're joking, but that is actually a completely accurate description of how we got Super Show.
That's right. And then we have a new first-time commenter on Twitch. No Pa Given says, hey, good evening.
No paw given?
That's the name of this person.
Oh, wait, I was going to dig into what that's a reference to, but I just realized, no,
Let's not go there.
Welcome to Catholic Answers Live Super Show. We're not talking about that one. There's some things we're not getting into.
All right, well, Sai, let's start the show. Let's get a little bit of your commentary on something new that has happened this past week.
Well, I think if you're going to comment on something, let's start with the Pope.
That's great.
So for my first commentary segment, I will be commenting on the Pope. And before I do that, I would like to tell you something. ChatGPT did not know that Pope Leo was the Pope for the first 4 months of his. Am I the only one that noticed this? I want the world to acknowledge that this actually happened. ChatGPT thought that Pope Francis was still alive for 4 months, and I have evidence of it on my phone. You've seen the evidence.
I've seen the evidence
of it. Chat. I don't understand why ChatGPT thought that it was fiction, and it would, when I would ask it about Pope Leo, it would say, of course, there is no real Pope Leo the 14th, but if there was, this is what he would. Why did that happen? Why was ChatGPT not able to accept? I mean, none of us wanted to accept it. Chatty. That's my affectionate name for ChatGPT.
Chatty.
None of us wanted to accept it, but ChatGPT literally just rejected it as it didn't happen.
Didn't ChatGPT say it was a fictional event that happened?
Yeah,
that he passed away and Pope Leo
and when I would
elected?
ask ChatGPT questions about it, ChatGPT would be like, "Well, in the timeline you're referring to," and I was like, "That's not how any of this works, ChatGPT." All right, so Leo is the Pope, but first of all, I would like to say something nice about Pope Leo and Pope Francis both. I think they have started a very good tradition in the Church. When Francis became Pope, the first major document he put out was Benedict's last document that he never finished. So Francis took Benedict's document that was in the editing stage, put his own stuff in there, probably ruined it. I don't know. I didn't read it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. He just put
Canceled a second time. Okay, there you go.
No, I'm just, he put his own stuff in there, but he put it out, making it clear, this is my predecessor's last document, but I'm making it my own, and here it is. Okay, so in other words, kind of finishing the work of his predecessor. Now, here along comes Leo, and the first major document of his papacy is the document that Francis was working on when he died. So he's like, okay, he was working on it. I added my stuff. Probably ruined it. I don't know. But, I'm just like when you're writing something, somebody else finishes it for you. You probably I realized that Benedict was still alive. Francis is not. So Francis can't say anything about it. But you know how somebody fixes your writing and you're like, did you fix it or did you ruin it?
You missed the point.
Yeah. Right. So, but I think this is a nice tradition. I think this is a very nice tradition that these two popes have done this. And now Leo, hopefully 30 years from now, when he's writing his last encyclical or motu proprio or whatever it is, and then he doesn't quite finish it, and then he dies. The following Pope Cyril I, let's just say that.
Okay.
Let's go with Cyril. Wouldn't that be nice to have a Pope Cyril I?
I have better
After
names.
Cyril and Methodius.
Oh, I thought you meant for somebody else.
No, for Cyril and Methodius.
Okay.
Kind of acknowledging.
Be a little too Eastern for us Westerners.
No, I think it's nice. That's what I'm saying. It would bring East and West together. So I hope he finishes Leo's last document, and I hope this becomes like a little tradition in the church that you do this.
Okay.
And I like it for a couple of reasons. One, Francis is a really different pope than Benedict. We don't know how Leo is in relation to Francis, but we know Francis, looking back on it, really different pope than Benedict. And this adds this little kind of easing the way from one to the other and a sense of continuity in the transition. I think that's good. I think that's healthy because, popes are people and they have personalities, they have quirks, they have all that stuff. But the institution is a different thing. And keeping the institution kind of flowing from one to the next, I think is a very good thing, a very positive thing. And making the best of what you've been given from your predecessor, saying, we've got this draft or this partially finished draft. Let me look at that. And the theologians that I trust, I'll have them read it and let them you go through a whole process. That's why he didn't put it out the day he became Pope. Months later, we get it. But it provides a kind of continuity. That's the positive thing. Here's the negative thing. And Darren's probably heard me say this 100 times. And you know exactly what I'm about to say, don't you? Yeah, he knows what I'm going to say. What's the deal with all the words? So many words in these papal documents. And I feel maybe Leo is because Leo seems like a kind of, he doesn't seem like a guy that constantly needs to be talking and putting out words and all that stuff. And so maybe this is just I'm taking in, Francis was famously very long-winded when he wrote. I mean, it just idea after thought and so you get into Francis, and what you don't get is a document where you go, magnificent from beginning to end. What you do get is there's these brilliant moments in there, but you at least the way I read it, sure, these brilliant moments, but couldn't we have said that in, I don't know, 30,000 fewer words than we said it? Because it's not all beautiful. It's not all mountaintop stuff. So maybe what Leo is doing is saying, well, I'm just going to, let me just get this out. Let me get Francis. This was important to Francis. Let me do the thing for him that he did for Benedict and all that. And maybe I kind of have a hope that Leo will not be a wordy guy. I think he shows signs of possibly not being a wordy guy. And I think that when you're wordy, you squander your authority because people don't know which things are important and which things are essential, which things are important, and which things are trivial. And so the only way you can make it that clear distinction as a leader, I think, is just stop talking about the trivial or the important. Say the stuff that's urgent. Like stay on that. So I think that the popes and bishops often squander their authority by writing too much. That would be certainly if Pope Leo said to me, he has not called yet. He's been Pope how many months? He hasn't called me yet. So, but if he called and said, give me one suggestion. He has to say two. Give me two suggestions. Suggestion one, we need an encyclical on the life of the parish. Parishes are dying all over the world. All of your predecessors have ignored the parish. Could we have an encyclical on the life of the parish? Suggestion two, don't write very much. So my first suggestion would be write. My second suggestion would be don't write very much. So let me just say, I read the document to try to be prepared, and the thing I felt was a sense of frustration that this could have been said so much more compactly. And I think that a lot of it is history. He gives the history of how the church relates to the poor, because the document is Dilexi or Delexi? Dilexi. I can't remember which way. Let me remember. I got to go look at my notes. Remember how you're supposed to pronounce it. Dilexi Te. I have loved you, and it's really good, but it's the same Pope Francis thing to me, in my view, of really, really good with, oh my gosh, the history of every. I felt by the end of it that I had read about every Catholic who had ever done anything nice for the poor, like every one of them, like starting with Jesus himself, through the apostles, through the early church, through the entire medieval period, all the saints, everybody, just mentioning every order, whoever did anything nice at all for the poor. And it's an important history, but it's not that important to make the points that the Pope needed to make. So I feel like he could have narrowed this down and gotten to what I think is the strongest stuff, which is, actually it's all strong. It's all fine paragraph by paragraph. It's just there are too many paragraphs. I mean, look, let me just give you an example. I'm in paragraph 54 of this thing, or section 54 of this, and we're up to, in our history of the church, we're up to St. Augustine, okay? In section 54. I'm up to St. Augustine. So come on, man. Like, that's a lot. And so, I haven't even made it to the end of antiquity yet.
I thought those were your notes, but that's the actual document. I was like, how are you going to go through all of that for this next hour?
I'm just scrolling through the document. So anyway, then it does get. I do think a lot of people pull out quotes, and this is another reason why I think these popes should be more circumspect. You're going to get the quotes pulled out of context, so maybe give fewer quotes. Just say the ones that you really mean, and the ones that are, I don't know. They say that Faulkner used to say that great writing was a matter of killing your little darlings. I don't know if Faulkner ever said that, but Faulkner clearly didn't kill his little darlings. But maybe he did. Maybe he did. He's a great writer. But I think these popes need an editor, man. They need somebody to go, you don't need to say that. I know you like saying it, but that's what the media is going to focus on. And you're saying all these other things that are the things you want people to listen to. So Pope Leo does get into some economics here and some economic theory. And several people that I talked to were kind of offended by it, because they're like, well, is he against free markets? Is he against capitalism? I don't know if he's against capitalism. He's certainly not against free markets, but and in some people's minds, those are the same things. So I mean, make of that what you will. But I think what he's saying, this is my take on what he's saying. He's talking about the poor. He's not trying to do a grand, this is how economic theory works. He's talking about the poor. And when he says the market can't fix all of this, the systems of the world can't fix all of this, if we are not charitable to one another, it can't be fixed. He's not saying we don't need any systems, we don't need any markets. He's saying that's not how you ultimately address the poor. The poor have to be addressed not just as statistics over here, that maybe the statistics are even getting better. That's not how we relate. We relate to the poor as brothers and sisters, children of God, and the ones who have the preference of the church, that is, the preferential option for the poor, really is a real thing. So this is my problem. My problem is not that I'm mad at Pope Leo or anything. I just think when you write so much, thousands and thousands of words on a document that really should have been hundreds and hundreds of words, you end up getting into a lot of things that will be that'll be the thing they'll pull out on the Fox Business Channel or CNBC. And that wasn't even the thing that you were trying to get at. You were trying to get at returning the church, returning to the church to be an institution at which the poor are at the center, not at the periphery. And I just don't think that message gets through as well if you say so much. So that in the end, however, if you get past about section 100, some very wonderful and helpful points, about how we go about doing this, and some critique of us. We need some critique. A lot of us are isolated from the poor, and we do so with a kind of it's okay because the government will take care of it. He's right to say these things. We do, and it's good to get slapped by the Pope every now and then. It's like Jesus. I don't know. He slaps a lot of people. The opening quote of this, "I have loved you," comes from chapter 3 of the book of Revelation. Well, the entirety of chapter 3 of the book of Revelation is Jesus slapping people. I mean, saying, "Wake up! You're not doing what I told you to do." So we should be okay with the Pope doing that. That's his job. He's the vicar, and he should do what the master did. But my fear is that 90 paragraphs of every single person who ever said or did anything nice for the poor in the history of the church maybe softened the blow of what should have been a harder blow, which is, look, all your systems, all your programs, all your markets, it doesn't solve the problem of the poor, because the poor are not just a problem to be solved. We have to love one another, and we have to, we have to provide education. We have to evangelize. We have to make sure people are fed, but he has a whole section on not only just that people are fed, but he says, quoting Pope John Paul II, if you really wanted to solve social issues, now I'm paraphrasing, but it's like he doesn't say it's the most important thing, but it's like, if you wanted to get to the essence of it, are there jobs for people? Has society organized itself so that there are productive things for everybody to do? And clearly the answer is no. So if you're like a real pro-work person, there's a line in here for you, a really strong line about jobs and working and labor theory. But I just think if you pour out an avalanche of words, some of them are going to hit, some of them are not, and you're better off if you don't. So I would say one thumb up, one thumb that wants to be up for Dilexi Te, and the wants to be up is too many words and obscured a really important message that we do still have to love each other. We do still have to love the poor, and we can't just do that through systems, through governments, through markets. We have to do that personally. I wish that would have been the message that got out, but it wasn't. So 1.5 thumbs. I didn't even know I was going to use the thumb system, Edgar.
All right, that's the new thing. It's a thumb system. We got to get you a little, I don't know, something.
1.5 thumbs. I mean, 2 thumbs up for Leo. God bless him. And this new tradition of publishing your predecessor's last unfinished document. It's just the Vatican needs an editor.
Yep. And I will offer, if Holy Father, if you are listening, our good friend Todd Aguilera is a great editor. So if you want to reach out, go ahead and reach out. He's available.
I don't think Todd speaks Italian though. It's only French and English. And the Pope.
That's a good point.
The Pope requires Italiano. You got to have.
But the Pope speaks English. He's American.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Pope's an American.
It's da Pope.
I forgot.
It's da Pope. Remember?
Oh yeah, but the thing is, Todd's from New York and the Pope's from Chicago. This is oil and water. So I don't know.
Fair enough. All right.
1.5 thumbs.
Our good friend JCap said you might get canceled a third time for the way you pronounce St. Augustine.
What did I say, Augustine?
You said Augustine. You said it like a Protestant.
Oh, that was not top of mind, but I will try to make it top of mind next time. I said Augustine because I usually say Augustine.
You said Augustine.
Well,
all right.
yeah, it's an excellent point. You make an excellent point. Edgar told me, interact with the people online and try to become popular. So I would say that's... No, you didn't tell me.
I didn't tell you that, no. All right, well... any final thoughts on the document, or shall we move forward?
I already did my thumbs.
Okay, we did
I
the
already
thumbs.
did my thumbs. You have a game you want to play with me,
It's not a game. It's a new segment. And this new segment, Johnny, roll it. This is the new segment. It's called Size Real Reactions.
Is that me?
That's you.
Good Lord.
Cartoon Size.
I have crazy eyes.
Do I have
crazy
not
eyes
just in that? No. There you go.
Oh, he had 2 thumbs up though.
He did have 2 thumbs up.
Johnny, play it again. I got to see that. I got to see if he's got 2 thumbs up there, Johnny. Yeah,
he does have 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
It's Cartoon Studio.
Wow, look at that. I like the icons behind it, but I can't see it well enough. Are the icons cartooned too?
The icons.
It cartooned?
It cartooned the icons.
You're going to have to show me this graphic. I can't see it well enough on the screen.
All right. So with this new segment, I don't know how much time you spend scrolling. So I spend way too much time
I'm scrolling now.
Are you
literally
while I'm
scrolling
talking?
Right now. Yeah.
So I want to show you. I want to get some real reactions from you. Therefore, size real reactions.
So you're going to play me a reel of
I'm
something?
going to play you a couple of different reels. So the theme, I guess, for this one is throw back to some kind of television. So that image, by the way,
video, or they're going to be.
It's going to be video. So you're gonna see it on the screen. Okay.
Monitor. Yep.
So
because of the lights, I can't see the video super good, but I'll do the best I can.
So do you remember? Back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, we had all these different kind of shows. This is when I was supposed to be in school. Shows like Maury and what was it, Rachel Ray? There's like a bunch of these different shows. Remember all those?
When they would do paternity tests and
yeah,
stuff like
exactly.
That? Yeah,
so I'm glad you mentioned that. So this first clip is actually an AI version of this. It kind of started going viral.
Get it?
I think you're going to get it. Okay. All right. Here we go. Side by side shot, Johnny.
All right, here we go. In the case of 8-week-old Midnight, you are not the father.
In the case of this 8-week-old brown puppy, you are not the father.
Did AI make these?
Yep.
In the case of the 8-week-old brown puppy, oh boy, you are not the father.
How did AI make the did the AI see the Jerry Springer ones or whatever, the Maury ones, and then
I think it saw the Maury ones and it just kind of recreated, because that looks like Maury. The last clip looked like Maury.
I don't know how good that looks to the people on the screen, because I like I said, I can't see it as well as you can, but that looked amazing,
right?
Like that didn't look like
AI. When I saw it, I was like, this is a little too clean. It kind of scared me a little bit.
That's
scary, huh?
It's scary, yeah.
All right, so here's another thing. Do you remember also the TLC shows? Back in the day, they had TLC shows on literally anything, and like
the Learning Channel.
Or no, not. There's a TLC. They had like Life Channel. So like there's shows about people that are obese or people that are hoarders, or there's people about. So specifically,
they still have those, Edgar.
Do they? I don't watch regular TV, so
they still got all that stuff.
I remember back in the day they had shows about people with what's the Tourette's syndrome. Remember that? Have you ever seen those shows like with people with Tourette's syndrome? They follow them around through the day.
Oh no!
And it gets kind of crude. It gets really crude. So sometimes the tics can be really, really crude.
Yeah.
So there's a video that went viral, and it's of a guy with Tourette's, and he's doing a podcast, and this is his tic, and it's kind of interesting.
No.
So here we go.
What are you doing?
Here we go. Johnny. His tic is the sign of the cross.
Oh, so he can't. It's compulsive. It's compulsive.
It's compulsive, yeah.
Sign of the cross.
And his buddies just can't handle it.
Is it because he's nervous that he's doing it right now? Like, has he?
He just can't stop. And I was thinking, he just can't stop.
You know what? I think he gets credit for all of those.
I do
think
too.
he gets credit for all of those.
I do too.
Yeah.
I really
I
do
say-
think how much grace is coming from that. Just the ticks.
Well, in all of our weaknesses, God is strong. So
Exactly.
that's got to be hard, though.
It is, but
I mean, it's so much better than telling people like, we're not on radio.
We're not on radio.
I can say whatever I want now.
well,
so
to
look at
an
how
extent.
scared they are in there. Like, what's he gonna say? I'm not gonna say it. Oh yeah, no, but it's better than some of the things that people.
Yeah, and
But-
there's a bunch of viral moments that he's gone to. You know, there's one where that same guy is in the kitchen and he starts in the sign of the cross again. So it's one of those ticks that he has. Like, it's kind of cool to see. You know, it's not just us dropping F-bombs and a bunch of other things. It's actually something kind of wholesome.
He I have a wholesome tick. Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on to the next one. So, Sai, do you ever get scam calls?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I have been scammed. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't. I don't think I've turned over any money to the scammers.
Okay,
But
I got to say this: they are very committed to the scam. And there's this video that kind of went around the social medias that I have to show you. It's a woman. She's talking to somebody who's trying to scam her out of some money. So here we go.
£100,000 in your account, in your Coinbase account. So all we need is your card number to be able to give you that money, okay?
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Let me just pull over because I'm driving, all right?
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am, please. So just give me your card details and the 500,000 will be with you right now.
Yeah, okay, let me just pull over. I'm driving a car. Hold on, give me a sec, 1 second.
Hello, ma'am?
Oh, sorry.
Hello, ma'am.
I just had a car crash.
Oh, ma'am, can you give me your card details?
Sorry, I just had a car crash. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. Just, can you reach your card?
No, I just had a car crash. Oh, I mean, I lost my legs.
my legs.
You're breathing and talking, so I'm sure you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So if you can give me your card details, I'll be able to help you, okay?
Wait, is that guy part of it?
That was part of it, but no. But talk about being committed to the scam.
It's amazing.
It's a good thing she didn't actually get into a car accident, but I mean, that's pretty intense.
Well, I have to say, if I may, the young woman is a very good actress. She did a good job, but she should not have done that.
Okay, all right. Moral implications. Let's hear it.
Well, even for a good reason, you shouldn't lie. And she said she was in a car accident, she lost her legs and all of that. It's even for a good reason, we have to stress this.
Okay.
You shouldn't lie.
All right, his Thomism is coming out.
Yeah.
Fellow Thomist.
I get it why you want to do that. But I mean, I have such mixed feelings about this, Edgar, and I don't want to be a party pooper about it. But the woman who's the scammer,
Yeah.
she probably also is a victim of this.
You think so?
I think so. Like when you see these scamming places, a lot of those people are under duress doing what they're doing. So, she was really good, but I don't think she should have done that.
I'm trying to focus on that's kind of funny because this lady was
the
committed.
commitment. Yeah, but
And you're like, you're not supposed to lie. Here's your Thomism coming out.
yeah, but I worry that the commitment is related to the fact that she herself is under duress. Like,
Oh, that's a good point. I
so
hadn't thought about that.
That worries me.
Okay, all right. That's not as funny as I thought it was going to be.
No,
All right, moving on.
Okay, I was a party pooper. I apologize.
It's okay. It's all right. You're Catholic. No, I'm just kidding. Well, we'll get to that part a little bit later.
You're breathing, so you could probably reach your
You
card.
probably reach your card. It's like, ma'am, you're okay. Give me your money. All right. So the next one is a little less. So let me restart that. How are your knees, Sai?
They're fine, I guess,
Yeah.
for what I ask of them.
Okay.
You
all
know,
right.
For what I ask.
So when you were
I'm
younger,
not playing rugby.
when you were younger, you can probably do some rough things to your knees, and you can just keep moving.
Yes.
Yeah. But as you get older,
I don't know because I don't do rough things anymore.
Okay.
I've given that up.
So this next one kind of spoke to me because I'm in my mid-30s now, which technically, I guess 35, according to Google, is officially middle-aged, so I'm officially middle-aged now.
I would have put you way past middle age.
Oh, thank you.
You seem really far on the downhill side to me, Edgar.
And moving on. All right, so this is one that really spoke to me, and it's very short, so you gotta pay attention.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
That's what it feels like.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know something, Edgar? I don't think young people can understand how much you lose as you get older.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, like they think that old people can see them. They can't see you. Like you're like, that person looked right at me and didn't stop. They did not see you. And you're going to get it when you're older. You're going to understand. They did not. I say that because of all the people I've hit with my car. I feel like people should know. I used to have what's
So
called
you're the
peripheral
danger on the
vision.
road.
I don't trust my peripheral vision at all anymore. Like I do the full body turn, the other full body turn. I'm like calling people, are there any children behind me? I don't trust, because it's amazing how often I am shocked that there's somebody there.
Really?
I change lanes after checking, I change lanes, and I'm like, where the heck did you come from? And I don't say heck.
I had very little pity for people who were not on the road and couldn't really see anything because, especially in my 20s, I just didn't care.
You can't get it in your 20s. You don't understand.
I think the first time it actually hit me was when I was with my dad somewhere, and it got late, and he gave me the keys. He's like, "Can you drive?" He's like, "I can't really see that well in the dark anymore." Oh, yeah. That hurt. I was like, okay, I gotta be a little kinder on the road.
Yeah. Well, also, you don't see with your eyes. You see with your brain. Your brain has to process. Your eyes just send signals. So your brain's not processing at 61 like it was at 21. You are not processing all the stuff that's
The reflex are a lot slower.
I don't have reflexes anymore.
All right. Well, we'll get to the. This is the last clip that I want to show you. It's a clip from Joe Rogan's podcast, and I think it's kind of
Joe
interesting.
Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
What are we, big time here?
We kind of are. We are now.
Well, I get it, AI dog videos, but are we really big enough to play Joe Rogan?
All right. Here we go.
Are we allowed to do this?
What?
They're just
This
as
religion
priests.
you can kind of goof on a little bit.
Catholicism?
Yeah. They get testy.
I don't, having now gone to more than a few Catholic masses, which are beautiful, and hung out with Catholics who are awesome, I've really had to reconfigure everything I used to think about it because they're just really sweet. Had a long conversation with a priest, brilliant dude, totally like non-judgmental, kind of intellectual, philosophical. Like right away, I'm like, oh, I should have this guy on my podcast.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not it's the, I feel like the Christianity that most people are angry at is not even Christianity. It's
You know what I think it's like?
What?
Like saying that you're a liberal person, because I'm pretty liberal and you're pretty liberal.
Yeah.
In the greater spectrum,
Yeah.
but then you get lumped in with Antifa. Then you get lumped in with, whatever crazy LBGT issue of the day.
Yeah.
Are we
Wait, are they both dressed like priests?
They're both dressed as
And
priests.
Joe Rogan is not a priest.
neither of them are priests.
Who's the other guy?
I think
we
that's
know?
Duncan Trussell. I'm not. I gotta look that up for sure. But he's a comedian as well.
Oh,
so
then I totally know him. Yeah, that's Duncan. I love that guy. Kills me.
I think that's it. But what are your thoughts on the commentary on this? So here they are dressed as priests, kind of, which is a little bit of a mockery. But they're like, can we actually do this? And then he starts reflecting on, well, they're actually kind of nice. Catholics are actually not that bad.
Yeah. The thing about dressing as a priest, I don't think you can do that in Italy. I think that's against the law in Italy.
Really?
But here in the U.S., you can do whatever you want. We can say it's disrespectful if we think it's disrespectful, but if you're not doing something disrespectful, it's not disrespectful. Like if you're, you have to be like the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. You know who that is?
Yep.
That's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
They're gross and disrespectful. They're gross, and I mean gross in the sense of vulgar. That's the word I should have used. Vulgar and disrespectful.
So what do you think about?
I don't think Joe Rogan was being disrespectful. He's probably being silly.
What do you think about like dressing up as a priest for Halloween? whatever your thoughts on Halloween are, whether
Like
like
a
dressing
vampire
up.
priest?
No, just
Or
like
what?
you know, people like
oh, that's scary. A priest.
because that's clearly a
Yeah, I mean-
Halloween costume.
Well, oh, is that what they were doing? A Halloween thing?
I think well, it's a recent episode, but
Okay.
they're clearly wearing Halloween costumes.
I don't know. I probably should have strong feelings about this, but I don't. I feel like I'm a failure sometimes because I don't have strong feelings about things you're supposed to have strong feelings about. I feel like I don't care. like,
Well,
like
this
Father
is not going to
Guido
be a good
Sarducci-
segment if I can't get you to react.
Father Guido Sarducci is one of my favorite priests of all time. Do you even know who Father Guido
I have
Sarducci is?
no idea who that is.
Well, I bet Big Stack does. I'm going to watch Big Stack. He knows who Father Guido Sarducci is.
Big Stack, let us know. Do
And
you
I
know
think
who that
Father
is?
Guido Sarducci got arrested in Rome once for impersonating a priest, even though he was a satirical priest. He was this priest on Saturday Night Live, used to smoke cigarettes and talk about the church. And
Wasn't that most
it wasn't
people back in the day?
in the 70s. Yeah, babies smoked in the 70s. Yeah, but as a matter of fact, we used to try to start babies really early for their health. But
Brian's saying, hate how blasphemous the collared shirts here undercut their words. Imagery matters. Yeah. And I think that's, Brian, that's actually the point. They're wearing this and they're starting the podcast and they're thinking, can we actually do this? This is kind of get messed up. Even Joe Rogan says, should we be doing this? They get kind of testy. But
Catholics get kind of testy, right? And that's where the other guy says the other thing.
yeah,
where-
it's like we,
yeah.
they're actually really nice people. He's kind of saying like, in the secular world, it's okay to mock Catholicism. It almost
that
feels like
I-
it's
right,
It,
yeah.
They almost feel like it's okay to mock Catholicism. You could say whatever you want. The stereotypical thing what they say about the pregnant nun and things like that. They make all these jokes. It's okay to make a mockery of Catholicism. What Duncan Trussell is saying is like people say that because people are angry at Christians. But when you actually get to know them, they're actually really kind people, and they are not the same Christians who you're mad at. And that's Duncan's point. In the
No,
video.
and I think that's true of the person of Jesus too. That people, that's the most important thing. Who really cares what people think about us? But what people think about Jesus is that he's a certain kind of person, and he's not that kind of person. And they get their image of Jesus. I don't know how the image of Jesus is formed, but he's not.
Well, it's a reflection of his followers. I mean, that's where the image of Jesus.
Well, maybe, but also of his opponents, they get to frame. They have a say in this as well, So like those two guys dressed as the priests, I don't care. It doesn't really bother me. But like when I see a Netflix, I've talked about this before, but when I see a Netflix show come on, and it's got a priest or a minister in it, I know by the end of this show, he's going to be a creep or a weirdo in some way. Like, there's no other reason for them to put a priest or a minister in there. He's going to be, unless it's a demon show and he's the exorcist, maybe he'll be fine. But he'll die, but maybe he'll be okay. But mostly, that's what I think is that maybe, I don't know if these two men are aware of, they would recognize if they were watching a TV show and someone stereotyped a gay man as a lisping, flouncing, fruity, they'd go, that's a stereotype. But then they see a Christian as judgmental and they maybe don't have enough reference to immediately go, that's just a stereotype. I'm not watching this stupid show.
Yeah.
So the stereotypes begin to become the way that people know what a Christian is. They know because they've seen dumb movies over and over and over again. The really Christian Southern lady. Does she ever end up being good by the end of the movie? No, she's Southern and Christian. She's definitely going to be the bad person by the end of the movie.
My favorite show, The Office. There's a lady there, Angela. She's a Christian. She's a prude, but she's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
So she's supposed to be. She portrays herself.
I'm in on all three of those, Edgar. You're describing me right now. But but most Christians aren't. First of all, most Christians aren't prudes. They're perfectly willing to laugh and have fun, and they're relaxed. Now, the line will be different for a Christian because the community that the Christian is trying to impress is a different community, and all human beings are regulated by what community are we trying to impress. Well, that's what it means to be a social creature. We're trying to have status somewhere. And the Christian is trying to have status in a community that they call the communion of saints. They're trying to impress the people in heaven. And so there are lines that they won't cross. But the people in heaven don't care if you make silly jokes like that.
Yeah.
They're not, but the secular person is trying to impress a different audience, like the person who goes, well, you're going to end up on the wrong side of history. Well, why are you worried about being on the wrong side of history? Because in your mind, you have a certain group that you're trying to select, that you're trying to impress, and that group is not worth impressing. They're not even babies yet. They're not even born yet. What do you care about them? Like, I mean, I do think we should care about babies, just not the ones that are even conceived yet. like they won't be conceived for, like, what do you care what they think? But the people in heaven, that's the way I feel about it. To become a Christian is to become a citizen of heaven, and now you have a different social group. And it's really important because our social group determines how we present ourselves. That we are trying to present ourselves in a way that is consistent with the social group that we want to be a part of. And so, I don't know, but I really don't. These guys, it doesn't hurt my feelings when. Like, they didn't do anything that was disrespectful to priests.
Yeah.
If they were hearing fake confessions or making fun of the sacraments, I'd go, don't do that. That's stupid. You don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it would be the same as, like, Joe Rogan says he's a liberal. Like, if I started doing jokes about, I don't know, like something that liberals are famous for, you know? Like,
well, that's what he says.
oh,
He gets
like,
labeled or clumped in with Antifa or some kind of LGBT thing that, you know, tend to go into the extremes. So like
yeah, I thought that was a good line.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain way in which, like if I'm a person that doesn't like liberals, then Antifa is kind of a convenient like coat rack to hang my opinions on. Go, oh, that's what these people are. And look, 99.9% of liberals are just horrible people like the rest of us. They're not horrible people in any special way. We're all horrible people. Like they're just horrible like all of us. But so that if what do I want to hang my opinion on as far as the Christian? Well, it's Angela, that prudish, judgmental hypocrite.
Yeah.
You know. And I think most Christians are failures at being Christians, but they're not hypocrites. And those are two completely different things. The fact that I fail to be what I want to be as a Christian is not the same as I don't want it, which is what a hypocrite, they just want the credit, you know. But being a failure is a very long way from being a hypocrite.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
And I am committed to my view of the human race. If
everyone's horrible?
If you just start realizing we're all horrible. You know, Jesus called us evil. Don't forget that. Jesus called us evil.
So is humanity all overall good or all overall generally evil?
It's, without question, good. I mean, we are by nature good. There's that is a basic teaching of Judaism that can never be erased.
But we're all horrible. Good but horrible.
Well, we're fallen.
That's true. Yeah,
we're all fallen, and that's what it means to be horrible. We all have a darkened intellect. We all have a darkened imagination. We all have a darkened moral compass. You know, all of that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think it helps us if we recognize, like, we don't go, I love Muslims because they're all so good. That's a terrible reason to love people. Like, if that's the reason you're going to love people, you are not going to love people.
Man, we're going to get canceled all places here.
You got to say, I love Muslims because they're just as rotten as everybody in my town, but God loves them, you know?
Yeah.
And he loves them to death, literally loves them to death.
Yeah. I have nothing else to say to that. That's
really
good. And this,
I like doing this little clip thing.
Okay, and that concludes our segments.
Okay,
here we go. One more time. We got to play the video one more time. Here we go.
Here we go.
Size real reactions. I mean, that's kind of.
Could you play that, Darren? You could play that. Darren plays guitar. That was guitar, but there might have been another instrument in there too.
Darren has a lot of talents that he doesn't tell people about.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of them I don't know because he hasn't told me.
Well, he also lacks a lot of talents that he doesn't tell anybody about. I'm sorry, Darren. That didn't make any sense. I was trying to go somewhere with that, and that was stupid. All right, so nothing more for me to react to, but you made a whole segment.
Yeah, I'll be
intro and outro, so we're gonna have to be doing that again.
I'll have to bring some more things for you to react to.
Were you disappointed that I didn't like the lying lady? I mean, it's not that I didn't like her.
This is what's the interesting thing is I was expecting you to react to a specific part of each video, and you did the opposite of everything. Yeah, I was
On
expecting
all of
to-
them?
Not on all of them, but so the Rogan clip, I thought the conversation was going to be taken into a different direction.
Wait, where did you think? I gotta know this. Where did you think we were going with the Rogan? Moment?
I think we eventually, I guess we eventually got there, but I thought it wasn't going to be about them dressed up as them and mocking Christians. I thought it was going to be actually Christians are not that bad, and I guess we did eventually get to the topic.
I liked what that guy said.
Yeah.
He was a very reasonable person. I mean, but generally, like who was the guy that used to say, "I never met a person I didn't like," and the idea behind that is if you know someone, it's very hard not to like them if you know them.
Yeah.
The way to not like people is make sure you don't know them.
Say that one more time.
If you want to really be committed to not liking people, especially a group of people, I don't like those, but just don't get to know them.
Did I ever tell you how I met who was the best man at my wedding, Junior? Shout out to Junior. We actually did not like each other. We despised each other in the beginning, but we didn't know each other. And then when I finally got to know him and actually met him, got to know him, and we started spending time together, I was like, he's actually not that bad. He's I think he's a little full of himself, but then again, so am I. So here we are. We get along well with each other.
Yeah, we'll make a good team.
Yeah, exactly.
We can look down on other people together. That's the whole basis of my marriage, by the way. No, that's not true.
Missy's a great person.
She is a great person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
She's a
curious to
great
how
person.
she ended up with you, but I mean,
I have the same curiosity myself, but I don't ask because I don't think I want to know.
Could you share about the marriage thing, or is that
What marriage thing?
the thing about her marrying you or you marrying her? Her
I totally don't know what we're talking about.
her finding out that she's going to marry you at a young age.
Oh, because she had a dream.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
tell that story. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Okay. So we were in completely different social groups in high school. We went to a big Southern California high school, and we didn't run in the same circles at all. She was the main difference between us is I won't describe myself, but she was popular and well liked.
And you're the opposite of that.
I'm just going to say we weren't in the same social circles. All right. And so one day I'm walking by the stairs near the senior lockers, and she's standing on the top of the stairs. No, everybody else was in class or something. Like it was between class or it was during class. I don't know why. It just so happened we were both out. Mm-hmm. And she said my name, and I looked up at her, and she said, "I had a dream about you." And this is how much game I have. I said, "Oh," and then I kept walking. What am I supposed to do with that? But
The popular girl at school who's really nice to everybody.
but she had a dream that we were married, and we were 17 years old at the time, and we never even dated until we were 25.
Wow.
Yeah. We might have dated when we were 17 if I had any ability to just say words to a girl, but I didn't have it. So.
Cy with his luscious dark locks. Well, shout out to all the people watching us on YouTube and on Twitch. Our good friend Big Stacks on there. Hallow334, Thunder OU Sooner. Thanks for joining. Jose787, thanks for joining. Storyteller, ACSL, all of our wonderful friends over on YouTube and over on Twitch. Of course, our faithful viewer, Shanovision, and a few others who haven't commented. Also, No Paw Given. By the way, No Paw Given said, "I got to change the name. Never thought of that at all until then, and I thought that the capital letters would help. So maybe he didn't realize his name was confusing."
Well, I just associated with another phrase that I did not want to say, and I apologize for that. That is me having lived too much of my life in the gutter, and I apologize for that.
Welcome to being out of the gutter.
Joshua says, "I thought Catholic Answer starts at 6 p.m. Eastern." Wrong. You are wrong, Joshua.
You got to repeat it one more time. What are we doing here, Si?
Catholic Answers Live.
Supershow.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. And now it is time for a special feature of Supershow that will happen each time we do this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Is that correct, Edgar?
That is
This
correct.
on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So every Tuesday and Thursday, if you log in an hour early, and you'll be able to join us, and we'll give shout outs to you guys and interact with you guys in the chat.
And I hope there will be more interaction. Today, I didn't have a chance to be careful and read, but I am finding all the ones that say LOL Sigh. Those are the ones that I want to see.
And Nails Anon says, "Si's humor lately has been next level."
Nails. Yep, that's right, Nails. Thank you. Good old Nails.
All right, so 5 minutes before the original 2 hours of the show. So we're gonna give Sai a little break, and then I'm gonna take over for a few minutes.
Yeah, so you're going to take over now. Next time, can we talk about how I'm trying to get a sponsorship so I get free iced tea?
What's the
Pure Leaf real brewed tea.
Pure
No
Leaf?
sugar.
If you want to sponsor
the show,
the Super Show, let us
just
know.
send it, 1 case a week, and you'll get mentioned all the time.
If this is what we're doing, Sacrilegious, if you want to sponsor us as well, I want some free socks.
Would you quiet down? I'm trying to get a sponsorship.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you're talking through my ad. I'll be right back.
All right. So as we prepare for the next hour, I just want to give a quick little reflection. I guess we can call this the show within the show, or the assistant host show.
Assistant to the host.
Assistant host show. So, so I got 3 minutes, so I get to talk to you guys. So, I guess jumping into something slightly more serious, I want to give you guys a little bit of a reflection that we have before we jump into the show. So, for those of you who know the Liturgy of the Hours, or praying lauds, or Vespers and all that, you know that there are certain prayers that are repeated during lauds and Vespers. During the morning in lauds, we always hear at the very end a prayer called the Benedictus, or the Canticle of Zechariah. Now, if you've never heard the Canticle of Zechariah, I'm going to read it to you at the end of this because I absolutely love it. But it comes from the person who we know as Zechariah, and that is the husband of Elizabeth, and I guess you would call him the uncle of Jesus. You don't really hear much about him in Scripture. You hear about him in the first chapter of Luke, and you know there's a reason why you don't really hear too much about him, is because he gets overshadowed in that chapter by the birth of Jesus being foretold, and Mary visiting Elizabeth, and then you hear the Magnificat prayer of Mary, my soul magnifies the Lord. So we don't really get to hear a lot about Zechariah, but if you don't know about him, I'll kind of go through. He was a priest who would offer sacrifice in the temple, and at one point he was elected to go into the temple. And when he was in there, we see of an apparition of Saint Gabriel to him that Gabriel appears to him and tells him, your wife's going to bear a son. Well, at this point, Zechariah and Elizabeth are both, a little bit older. And, he never thought that they were going to be able to conceive a child. And this angel comes and says, you're going to have this child with your wife. And he doubts. And the angel Gabriel strikes him to the point where he can't speak. And he stays there unable to speak for about 9 months. And the first time we hear him proclaim the name of John, his son, John the Baptist. And we hear his praise. And in Scripture, they title it Zechariah's prophecy. And he says this. Let's put this in context. Zechariah is a priest who's is learned. He knows his faith. He has been through the struggles. He's currently living under Roman occupation. Before that, his people were under the occupation of, who knows, countless other nations, from the Greeks to, the Babylonians to, you can name them off. And here he is waiting the Messiah. And here he is, not just waiting the Messiah, but also waiting for his own son, who he thought he was never going to have. And he proclaimed